universe is calling you. The universe is calling me. It speaks both day and night. It's full of dark and light. And I've heard others call from light years away. And they're real, and they're here. Space and time are instantly clear. Planets spin, grids in place. We can travel through space, fields and forms, math and voids. It all sings with one voice. It's home. Boundaries set, foundations laid. Sound was heard, matter made. Solar systems from afar. Names and numbers for the stars. And I've heard others call from light years away. And they're real, and they're here. Space and time are instantly clear. Planets spin, grids in place. We can travel through space. It's the Lord's.
Huh?
Hey folks, welcome to the SkyTour live stream. It is I, Mark D'Antonio, and I'm here with you-know-who, Daryl. Say hi, Daryl.
Hi, Daryl.
There you go.
Hello, Mark. How are you? Hello, everybody. Ta-da.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Good day, Daryl?
I'll tell you, after a while, any day you can get up is a good day. I can tell you my complaints, but I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer.
All right.
My back hurts. Other than that, I'm fine.
All right. Well, hello, folks. Listen, we're going to just do our little diligence here, try to get the telescope all focused. I figured bring you in with it. You can see it and check it out. And we're going to check out some galaxies tonight again because we have a beautiful night, and it's going to be a wonderful opportunity to do more galaxy hunting. We've got one in here now, which we'll start to look at in just a minute after we get the focus in here. Here we go. All right, so hopefully you guys are doing well. Let me know in the chat how you're doing. I am going to just reset things here and head into the negative realm and do our focus adjustments here.
Hit that thumbs up button, folks.
Yeah.
Helps with the algorithm.
Yes, it does. Thank you for reminding me to have that come through, Daryl. Thank you.
Thank Marco. He reminded me.
Oh, hey, guys. I want to say hi to Tim F., who was the first one here. Papa Tom's with us. Michael Hedrick. And I see that Wayne Pinkham has joined us. Wayne's a cool guy. He lives around here and near where I am. And he went to Mauna Kea and brought me the coolest T-shirt and a Muamua card. It was really cool, like a holographic Muamua. Very, very cool. So I thank him every time because it was really cool. I'm glad you could join us tonight, Wayne. And hello to Michael Galea. How's it going? And we have Marco's with us. Nice to see you. Jamal, hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. I'm looking forward to talking with everybody. Jamal, if you can type in English, that'll be very helpful because we're not able to translate on the fly right now. So if you can type in English, that'd be wonderful. But it's really good to see you. Thank you for being here. Dean Bostador, how you doing? Okay, we've got our focus, so we're going to do this now. All right, and then we'll be ready to expose this galaxy that we see right here, this fuzz, little fuzz. Astronomy is all about fuzz in the sky, guys, I tell you. You know, it's really cool. All right, so let's get out of here and let us now do an exposure. Then I'll talk about this galaxy and tell you a little bit more about it. Just a minute. So this is going to be a 25-second exposure. And for those, again, that are unfamiliar, I will just point out the basics. Okay, this is our telescope control over here on the left. This is our telescope computer peak. This is the telescope in the building. This is the big mouth that does all the talking except for Daryl. This is the camera control section, and this value right here, the exposure, this is really important. This is the time that we're exposing the image. And then this one is the next most important, and that's called the gain right here. The gain is how sensitive we make the sensor that's going to get exposed for this amount of time. And together, those work to bring us a balance of a nice image with or without digital noise. Right now, it's pretty high up at 250, and that kind of gives us a little more digital noise than we may want. Hello, Annie Langdon's with us. Thank you. Nice to see you. And look, Chris Mindforked. What's up, girl? I will be, hopefully, if you're going to be at Contact in the Desert, I'll see you there, because I'll be out there doing 3 lectures, actually. And lastly, but not least, this is a little processing. It's called a histogram. If we remove this yellow bar, which is, in other words, this bar here is taking as much of the data as it can get. But if I remove it, you'll watch how the screen gets extremely dark, okay, in just a second. So, and that's what we do. The focus is down here, just a little bit lower. Take this off, as I promised, and you'll see the screen gets really dark. You only see the brightest of stars showing through. Okay, so we do this as sort of a little night vision assistance to help us see our target. And then we go for our exposure, which is underway. You can see this yellow bar down there. Okay, this is the galaxy that's overexposed, and we're gonna make it properly exposed right here in just a second. All right.
Mindfork says they'll be remote for CITD.
Contact in the Desert.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll be remote for it. Okay. All right, Chris. No worries. But it's good that you're here with us tonight. Fantastic. Make sure you come to my lectures. The thing is, if you're there, we're giving away equipment. In all of my lectures, people when they come into my lectures, they're gonna have a raffle ticket that they get coming in the door, and that's gonna allow them to be in a drawing during the talk for a pair of binoculars or an entire telescope system. But Chris, you gotta be there to win. It can't do remote. I have never done a remote thing like that. I don't know how I would do a remote raffle like that. Let's darken this up.
Well,
Okay.
we did remotes here several times. It wasn't a raffle, so to speak. It was pick a number or something, I think.
Yeah, but we're going to be having physical raffle tickets.
Oh, I understand that.
Yeah.
Not my first rodeo.
Yeah. Wasn't implying it wasn't. I'm just saying that we're not going to be able to do it the best way, for this. It's not going to be as good.
Yeah, I understand.
But we're going to have a lot of people in each of these talks for sure. So we're going to get a lot of attention and people joining us, I think. So let me show you what you're looking at, folks. Okay, this little galaxy is right up here in the constellation of Leo, and it's called NGC 3596. NGC stands for New General Catalog, and the New General Catalog is a catalog of objects that we will often use, and it's really something that there's many thousands of objects in the New General Catalog. Something like 8,000 of them or so.
Didn't William Herschel start the New General Catalog?
You might be right. I'm not sure.
I forget. I know he contributed to the Messier catalog a fair bit before.
Yeah.
I could be completely off. I forget.
Well, you could look it up.
He went down to the southern hemisphere and observed from South Africa, if I remember correctly, and
Wow.
I think that may be where he started the NGC.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll have to look that up.
So NGC 3596 is literally 75 million light years away. This means that the light you're seeing from it came to us literally 10 million years further back. 10 million years before the dinosaurs died is when it left that galaxy. And then all the history since that point to present day had to take place before the light you're seeing right there on the screen made its way to us at our telescope.
And I see that the Leo triplet's just below this object.
Yes, it is.
We might be able to take a look at them after this, and
Sure.
I bet Stellarium would even tell us how far away they are compared to how far away 3596 is. Might give you
Let's take a look at the Hamburger Galaxy in the triplet. This
sense
one,
of 3 dimensions.
yeah, so that's 75 million light years away. This is 45 million light years away, the Hamburger Galaxy, the upper one. And then this one here measures 65 in the Leo triplet. This one is not given. Distance isn't given, but I'm sure that can be a lookup. And 66 is given as 35 million light years away. So I'm sure that this one is also a similar distance. It's just not shown.
Yeah.
For sure. Wow.
They kind of get a sense of depth out of what's going on there.
Oh, yeah. This is much further, almost twice as far
Yep.
as these guys, which is really interesting. This one's much further away than these two, right? And then this one is a lot further away than both this one and these two here. These two are the closest to us of the ones we're looking at here. So the universe is in 3D, guys, and so that's why it's cool. And you know what's neat? I like bringing it to you in real time. So this is the universe live in real time, as we say. Okay, so this is going to be NGC 3596, and it's a Galaxy. And I put GAL. And again, my thanks to Izabela, who has spent time creating the rest of the database for us. So from the year 2021 to present day, almost all of the data that from our observations is now in a database. And we're going to be able to present that to you in some form, hopefully very soon. I'm really looking forward to that, because that is just the coolest thing. In other words, if you want to find out all the times you've observed this, if we don't remember when we've observed this galaxy, wouldn't it be nice to be able to look it up and get an answer right away and say, hey, we observed it actually 3 times, and this will tell us. And then we can look for differences in each of those. And maybe we'll discover something like a supernova. So it's pretty cool.
You mentioned earlier, what kind of galaxy is this? SNC?
This is a SC.
I'm sorry?
SC. So,
SC.
yeah, and if we zero in on it, it's an active galaxy, but it's an SC. So,
Can you explain that simply?
Yeah, it's as an active galaxy, it has probably has radio jets or has some type of radio activity going on in the nucleus or coming out in the polar regions, and it's also a galaxy that's not as wound up, which is the SC part. Andromeda Galaxy is an SB. We're kind of a barred spiral, so we have an extended nucleus, and then the spiral arms come off of those, as you know. I'm just explaining for everybody else. And from that, we're a barred spiral, and this one is not. This is a spiral, so it has a round nucleus with the arms coming out of that. And we'll zoom in on here in just a second, because I think we'll be able to capture some little more detail as we zoom in. And I can see that we are. Look at that.
I was gonna say, I mean, it's a
That's pretty obviously face on.
face on spiral.
Let's see if we can add a little.
I see a dark lane on the left and a dark lane on the right.
Yeah, I do too. Let's sharpen it up and see if that helps. Oh yeah, look at that. That's an interesting galaxy. Notice how it's not just a dark lane. This is actually kind of, well, maybe a void in the galaxy, a spaces between the arms. You know?
Michael H. has a question of you.
Did you know Vera Rubin will be on the U.S. quota in 2025? I did not. That's pretty cool. Believe it or not, I actually applied for the job of managing the Vera Rubin public outreach. But they wanted somebody else, and that's fine. You know, they probably had lots of candidates. But it would have taken me to Tucson and for a year, and then I'd be able to do it remotely after. And that's too bad, because I would have been, I think, pretty good at that. But I don't mind, because I have a feeling also it would have taken me away from streaming as well for quite a while, and I wouldn't like that. Wow.
Look good on the resume.
Yeah. Yeah. But I only work for myself, you know. I typically don't work for anybody else, you know. So I guess it's a mixed bag. Okay, so we've got 21 exposures, and we're at 250 gain, and that is making some noise in here. That's what you're seeing around this, that modeling. We can get rid of that noise, and that's fine. We'll do that. But I also want to point out that we have to also think about maybe turning down the gain tonight. Maybe drop it to 175, Daryl, and see if that will. What?
Nothing. Carry on.
No,
I mean, the noise is coming because it's not really dark yet out there, is it?
No. I mean, you can see some of the red from the sunset light, yes. But if we zoom in, all right, let's zoom way in anyway. Okay.
Okay, I see that.
See that noise?
Yeah.
To reduce that, we have to reduce our gain, as you know. Um, and so it's not a matter of just dropping this line down. I could drop the midline down drastically, and that will reduce noise. It'll muddy it, as you can see. All right, but it also reduces the intensity of the galactic detail. When we zoom in, you see it's a little blurry. Then it will sharpen up again as we start to get to like that. See, so now we can see some detail in here.
Yeah, two very pronounced dark lanes and
Yeah,
some clumpy bright areas.
yeah. Let me turn off the sharpening here and let's see what it looks like without it. Okay, see, without the sharpening, the detail kind of gets lost a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn on sharpening, but I'm going to reduce it slightly. It's at 2.3. I'm going to go to 1.88. Sort of a best of both worlds scenario here.
One bright area at about 7 or 8 o'clock.
Right here? Oh, over here.
Yeah, 7 or 8. I almost guess that's a foreground star now.
I think that's a foreground star. Or we've discovered a supernova.
Yeah. I do see some clumpy brighter areas in there, though.
Yeah, like here. Along this outside rim, there's modeling. Definitely. Now, when we get the...
Some around 6 o'clock, too.
Yeah, that's true. I see it there, too. Now, folks, when we get the Celestron 11, which we purchased, by the way, up and running... hello, Izabela.
Hi, Izabela.
When we get the Celestron 11-inch, which is an inch larger in diameter than this telescope, up and running, when we look at this, it's going to be a lot bigger in the view than it is with the native view of this. If we go back to show you what we really got going on here, we'll go back to, say, 25%. Look how big it is in the frame, and that's still not the full frame. If we drop it down, that's the whole frame, okay, and that's the size of it on the frame. And we've been zooming way into it. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? This is pretty nice, though. This spiral arm has some real wicked turns to it, and almost looks like there's a reddish hue to it, like maybe there's some H2 regions going on in there, which could be part of the active galaxy designation.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take this last image, and then we're going to stop at 30 images right here. So let's just save this. I've got it marked up here. You can see it. So we're going to save it here at 30 images, and you'll see it's saving a astronomical FITS file format. What is that? I'll explain in a sec. And then you'll see that when I save it exactly as seen, and then it's a PNG file, a PNG, and when you see that one, all you do is click on it, and this is what you get. This is the image you will get. So you're free to zoom in on it and explore it and enjoy it, and that's free. You can come up to our server, and where are you going to see the server? You know where, SkyTourLive.org. Just scroll down until you have you see a gray area that says, "Take me to cool pictures," you know. So that's cool. And then you've got to read the instructions, how to decipher the details there. And like I said, Izabela, ears must have been burning because I mentioned how she's been working a lot on our database. And it's been incredible, the data she's got. Years and years of our observations have been now cataloged and put in a database, thanks to Robin Curtis initially, and now Izabela. So this was really something. So we're very happy that our data has been preserved because Izabela has actually used it to find asteroids. And she has. She's already been successful. So show her some love, guys. She's in the chat now. Don't let her get away without telling her what a fantastic and smooth operator she is, because, man, she is good.
Mark, Izabela asks again, what is the indice number of what we're looking at?
This is NGC 3596.
Okay, and I have a question.
Yeah.
I was about to post a link to the server. Should I not do that? Would you rather people go through your
Oh, no. You can post a
web
direct
page?
link.
All right. Well,
Because
here's
SkyTour.
the direct link for tonight's images, folks.
Yeah, thanks, Daryl. No, that's fine. You can always do that. See, the thing is, SkyTourLive.org is our portal. It's the portal to the Patreon. It's the portal to the live stream. It's the portal to the data. It's a portal to the professional service to get these final fully processed images under glass, framed on canvas, on metal. So it's got a tremendous amount of flexibility and stuff up there that you can do on SkyTourLive.org. It also will help allow you to come here to our stores, our Etsy store, SkyTour Shop. If you want to see any of these final images emblazoned on mugs and glasses and tumblers and blankets for your beds, shoes, yes, even boxer shorts, okay, then you can go up there and find them online because we've created products to do that. It's pretty cool. And we are a 501c3. We're a nonprofit. We depend on your donations. We don't have a giant pot of money. So if you can do $5 a month for us on Patreon, that's wonderful. We really appreciate that. And our Patreon is what keeps us going a lot of the time, and that's what's going on right now. And we've got a few people in the Patreon now, and we want more to be able to help us continue. And keep in mind that I'm not getting anything out of this. I don't get a salary. I don't take money from this. This is all strictly to bring you better equipment and better views of the night sky. I turn it right around to get better stuff, and that's I guess that makes me stupid. But let's be thankful that I'm not as smart as people suggest I should be, because I want to keep doing this for nothing.
And I watch some other streams on YouTube, a few channels I tend to frequent, and boy, some people, it looks like they're just really riding the gravy train with their Patreon. I mean, they're taking trips, they're buying real expensive barbecue grills, and all sorts of stuff. I wonder where they're coming up with the scratch. It must be the Patreon.
It is.
Yeah.
We have like 20 or so Patreon subscribers, and if we had 40, what would I do with that extra money? You know what I would do? I would turn around and just get better stuff for the observatories, because we're gonna be paying for internet for 2 locations now. We're paying for internet for this location. This is Starlink. It's a bane, it's a curse, it's a love. Okay, because you'll see Starlink go through and ruin some exposure sometimes. But on the other hand, we also have other costs to deal with. For instance, for the new observatory, we have to trench electrical out to the observatory location from the main electrical on the property, and the property's not mine. It doesn't belong to SkyTour either. So we're doing this, with the blessing of the landowner, same as this observatory. So we have to, get to rent a trencher. That's like $600 a day, and we're gonna take that and trench our underground electrical conduits. And why do we not just run it on the ground out there? Well, because if you run a pipe on the ground out there, the temperatures inside that pipe can get blisteringly hot in the summertime. So we have to protect it from the heat and run it underground, bring it up into the building from outside where it's not going to be in the sunlight. And that's going to take care of all kinds of problems for us that could arise. So. Yes.
Leo triplet.
Thank you.
Leo triplet.
I know. All right. Well, we saved this a second time, so we can get rid of 3596 and go check out the Leo triplet. And Daryl had another one he wanted to look at too, and it's near Regulus.
Yeah. Well, everything so far is in Leo, so
yeah, we'll just check it out.
Might as well hit the triplet first. It's its closest.
Yeah. So let's I'm going to now. This is in our kind of our night vision view. And I'm going to drop down to 25% just to allow us to see the full frame. Now the other thing too is I want to make sure. Okay, we're stalled. We're waiting for a nice Starlink satellite to come in. Our Starlink service location is actually not a high bandwidth location. It's actually a lower bandwidth location, which is, not as exciting. But you know what? We have internet, and we're happy about that. So, all right, here we go. Okay. So let's go back to this. Okay, there's 25%. And now here, and now, gee, what's that, Daryl? Oh, it's a Leo triplet. Why don't we just go to the Leo triplet?
I will gladly pay you Tuesday for a Hamburger Galaxy today.
For Hamburger Galaxy today. That's funny. Okay. So here we go. There we go. Streaks of the stars. As the telescope doesn't shut off imaging as we're moving. There are the two galaxies in the lower end of the triplet. And that's the one we're centering on. So I'll have to move them down. And here goes that Starlink satellite went through. And now what I'll do is move us up a little bit so that we can... These are very high in the sky, so these should come in really pretty tonight. I'm going to bring in the Hamburger Galaxy right now. It's just up here. There it is. If you're an astronomer, you're into fuzzy things, and this is a fuzzy thing. Okay? So let's image these. I'm going to move over just to the west a tiny bit, just to center them up. All right, there we go. So they're right in there. There we are. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah. Okay. Now you'll see searching. Our telescope is searching for a guide star. It's found it, and now it's guiding. So we'll set our exposure here at 25 seconds. You notice I type in 25,000. That's because if you don't put an S, it gives it in milliseconds. So 25,000 milliseconds, 1,000 milliseconds per second, is 25 seconds. So as soon as I get out of our night vision mode, I'll increase our screen size a little bit here. And then I'll go into our live stack. And in our live stack, we may see the previous galaxy, which I'll delete because it's in the buffer. It's also been saved. It's actually on the server right now. So when we save, it actually goes up to the satellites and then down to our server. Look at that. Wow. That's really pretty. This is going to be a really pretty shot. So here's the Hamburger Galaxy, stated so because it looks like a hamburger. And I'm going to just, these are our curves here, and I'm going to align them all under each other, the red, green, and blue. Won't change much because it's nearly aligned. But then I'm going to remove this, I'm going to move this black point. This black point is now after the curve. You want to move it to just before the curve to get the maximum amount of data. And look at the difference that makes. You know, it really looks nice. And if
Looks
we...
like they...
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Forgive me.
No, it looks like they what?
Looks like they put a lot of lettuce on the hamburger.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Boom, boom. Ronald's here. Hey, Ronald, how are you? Ronald is one of our premier supporters of SkyTour Livestream. He's ERRT Radio. Welcome him, guys. Show him some love, too. And Curtis Horn, how are you, man? Good to see you. Looks like the In-N-Out driving to me. That's funny. And Louis Ta, how are you? Louis TA. Okay. I'm liking the detail in this already, and that's only after 4 exposures. So this is going to be a really nice picture. Let's see what it wants to do. It wants to really compress this picture. When you bring these curves closer to each other, it really starts to pull way more detail out than you actually may have in the image. Right off the bat, it'll overexpose the cores. So what we do is we typically hang back in order to show you the detail without blowing out the centers. And that looks really pretty.
Rankin has a question of you, and Stan at Two Rivers Observatory has a question of you.
Okay, sorry I didn't see him. Oh, there's Stan. Okay. Stan said, who asked the question?
Huh?
Oh, okay. Ranjit?
Yes.
Oh, Ranjit Niklandan. Hey, how are you? Thank you for coming, by the way. If you're not a subscriber, it's free. Please subscribe. You know, he's asking, thanks for this electronic astronomy session. I love it, too. Which scope and camera do you use? We're using, the scope's right there. You can see it right here. This is an LX600 that's been it's the only one on Earth that's been modified to be an f1.8 telescope. So it's kind of like a RASA, but it's a 10-inch RASA effectively. It's f1.8 modified by Star Arizona. We have a hyperstar on this, and we are the prototype. And as you can see, it's really not that bad at all. It's quite good. We're really happy with how it works. And the camera we're using is a camera that we've tuned or got the parameters for just to tune it specifically to this particular optics. Our optical focal length is 503 millimeters. And we're using a camera that's the 183 MC Pro. And we were using the 294 MC Pro, but that was not giving us the right arc seconds per pixel value that we wanted. And this one gives us the arc second per pixel values that will allow us to be in the exceptional range. And that's where we want to be. So that's the data for this telescope. We are going to be taking it off the fork mounts that you see here. The fork mounts are problematic because the telescope has this long dew shield on it, and inside that dew shield is the hyperstar lens assembly plus the camera. The camera's off the front of the telescope. So that said, if this telescope was to look down or go haywire, it could run all that equipment into the bottom of the telescope, and that's an NG no good. We don't want that. So we have another mount we've purchased. It's the identical mount to our second observatory we're putting in Benson, Arizona. And that mount is going to be the Skywatcher EQ6 Pro. 6R Pro. And that's they're gonna run on Green Swamp server, which I mentioned to Daryl earlier. And that's gonna be a identical operational system, so every scope will be, no matter where we have them, they're going to be running the same way. Now Stan asked, how much time would you normally spend imaging a galaxy to get as much detail as you could? Well, how long do you image to get the good detail? That's a really good question, and I'm going to drink water before I do it. Okay, so it depends on a lot of things. One thing it depends on is the clarity of the sky. Right now you can see we're getting lots of nice detail. So we're getting a good sky tonight, and we're very happy about that. And for those that want to just see good sky, you can check out our all-sky camera, which is here. This is the current view, a live view of our night sky right now out there. We're in Leo, so if we bring up the constellations, okay, you can see that Leo is literally right there. It's almost overhead, and we're looking right here. We're looking at the Leo triplet, which is down here. All right, And we're going to go over to Regulus, which is this star right here, in just a little bit and check out something over there. All right, so that's that's tonight's sky right now. That's the live view. Okay, the lights here, this is Phoenix, 80 miles away. Okay, this is bird turd from a bird. And I've identified the bird. It's the same one every single blasted day. And Marianne, who is our amazing, SkyTour live and nonprofit person in our nonprofit group, along with Tara Daiulis. Marianne is going to go out there and clean this off. But I've come up with a remote way to do that. I've come up with basically a windshield wiper, curved windshield wiper that will actually take care of all this stuff and have little squirters to send water. It's pretty cool. So you can see we have a beautiful sky. In fact, later on tonight, the Milky Way rises over here. And by 4 in the morning, it's here. So it's coming, folks. Summers are coming. So that's pretty cool.
Michael H. asked,
Yeah.
can you go back to the yellow sky for just a second?
Oh, okay.
He asked a minute ago, can we see a little farther to the southeast?
Yeah, let me...
Is that the bottom of the frame?
Yeah, I gotta scroll up. I think it's the bottom. Yeah, the top and the bottom is cut off on this because I've got to get a lens that shows us the all sky, but all the sky. But this shows us most of it, and I gotta tell you, it really allows us and affords us the ability to, really zoom in on stuff and check stuff out, and I really, really like it.
Okay. Let's see. That's that's the Big Dipper. Blah blah.
Yeah, there's the Big Dipper right here.
Okay. There's Virgo, Spica. The two bright stars you see just above the edge of the bright sky over on the far left side.
You mean
farther
this
down.
guy? Oh, you're talking
No.
about here?
That's Spica.
Yep.
Then to
That's
the left,
Arcturus.
upper left, yes. He was asking about Libra. Those two
Oh.
bright stars right there to the left, just a little bit.
Oh yeah, we talked about this. Not these two, but
No,
this one.
no. Go down. That star right there.
This one.
And then the next bright star down, right under it, right there. That's
These two.
Libra right there.
Okay, yeah.
That's Zubin Shimeli and Zubin Janubi.
And
So they're rising now. They'll be easier to see later in the evening.
yeah, it says Libra right there, but it's just hard to see.
Yeah.
All right. well,
Sorry,
that's cool.
Michael H. asked that a minute
No, that's
ago.
great. I'm glad you did that. All right, so we have 22 images shot here so far. Look at the beautiful colors in this galaxy. Wow. We're zooming in on the hamburger because everybody likes hamburgers.
Marky, excuse me a moment, please. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Right back.
All right, so if you look, guys, you're seeing that there's this dark brown trail through this galaxy. This is common, actually. Many spiral galaxies will have a disk of material, and in that disk of material, well, there's star formation that's undergoing in there, and you've got spiral arms that are seen edge on. So you don't see the spiral arms as you do from the top; they're edge on. This galaxy has been disturbed. Another galaxy has passed by it and kind of ripped some of it out. Same here. Okay, and if we go over to this guy over here, this little processing box, and we actually increase it brightly, you can see some of the additional data that's out here. There's more stuff out here, see? And we don't leave it like that, right? We could also invert this so you can see it in reverse, so you can see the extent of this, and it's really pretty dramatic, you see? So we can do it two ways. You can bring it back down, all right? So this shows you how we do things. In fact, when I was getting my degree in astronomy, I only worked with negative images of the sky. I only worked with negative stuff. I did not work with anything else but the negative stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. And that allows us to focus and measure things very, very accurately. So that is what that's about. So let me get out of here and get rid of this additional brightness here. So you see the modeling in this dark lane. That's because it's sort of edge on to you right now. And so the spiral arms had this debris. Where'd it come from? Well, this debris comes from countless supernovae that occurred in this galaxy. Supergiants, red supergiants, actually make this dust in their outer atmospheres before they go supernova. And then after they go supernova, it gets spread out to the universe. And then more dust is made in the interim during that whole process. I want to say hi to Dale Selke. How are you? Dale says, I have a question. Has anyone seen the image of a man holding the American flag image of James Webb image? I don't know. You'll have to tell me where you might have seen it. And Ben Zavala, how are you? Nice to see you. Petita's here. Hi, Petita. I saw you earlier and I forgot to say hi. I apologize. You can slap me when you see me. I miss her. She's wonderful. So let's add a little more processing here. Look at that beautiful detail. This is really exquisite. Now, what we've done is we've been, as you can see, all the greens. These are all our exposures. And these exposures have been just fine. And that means the guiding is very good. We don't have any wind tonight. Yay. Okay. And it'll hopefully stay that way. Gosh, this is beautiful. All right, I'm going to go to the other galaxies here in a minute because they're just as interesting.
That's a lot of lettuce.
A lot of lettuce. Absolutely. Okay, let's go down to these guys. Look at these. Now what you're looking at here, guys, you're looking at other galaxies like our Milky Way. We're inside the Milky Way. And so we're actually looking out from inside it. So when we see the band of the Milky Way, we're seeing the dark dust like we saw with the Hamburger Galaxy. We're seeing the dark dust and the star clouds associated with it going over our head from some inside. You'd see that as a band going over you. And it goes all the way around you because, you know, if you think three-dimensionally in space, it literally is it's a strip that you can see if you get off the Earth and you block out the sun. You'll be able to see it all traveling all the way around you in our local universe, you know, in our galaxy.
Yeah, if you could zoom in on the hamburger a lot and turn it about 90 degrees clockwise.
That's right.
To where the galaxy is taking up the field, you'd be seeing pretty much what we see when we look up in the sky and see the Milky Way.
That's right. We have dark rifts and stuff like that in our galaxy as well. So, okay. So now what we'll do is come down here again. I'm going to color correct one more time to get rid of the reds. There we go. And now let's zoom in on this galaxy. Wow, look at that. This galaxy has undergone some type of a tumultuous interaction, and that might have been with either this galaxy or with the hamburger. I'm going to guess with the hamburger because this galaxy looks like it's pretty regular. It doesn't seem to have any issues.
Now, remember the hamburger is much farther away than either of those galaxies. If I had to guess an interaction, it's between the two here.
Yeah, except that we don't know when the interaction took place. It could have been taking place while the hamburger galaxy was on its way out, you know, into the page here, you know, heading into further locations. And maybe over the amount of time based on its red shift, the speed at which it's moving away from us, it might have been somewhat closer when it happened. Don't know. But the hamburger galaxy did interact with something. And I don't know if there's a dwarf galaxy near it somewhere that we haven't seen yet. There might be. Doesn't take much to disturb galaxies. I mean, we have one out here. If we just go back here. Gotta wait for our Starlink satellites to come back. There it is. See that right there? There's a galaxy there. I'm not sure which one it is. But it's possible that maybe this little tiny galaxy right here has interacted with this big galaxy right here. Maybe. I don't know. If I know Daryl, he's looking up what interacted with the hamburger galaxy to cause it to be misshapen as it is.
Actually, I wasn't. Give me a minute. I will.
Okay. This galaxy here, and we're going to go look at these again here. So we're looking at, and we're looking at what's called the Leo triplet. Okay. This is NGC 3623, also known as Mesher 65. And the one that we're centered on here is Mesher 66. So this is 65, and this is 66. And that guy is Mr. Hamburger, and I don't believe he's got a Mesher number. Let me go back. Hamburger Galaxy is NGC 3628.
Another discovery by William Herschel.
Oh, fantastic. They are pretty bright. Okay, Michael has a question. Michael Hedrick. Never asked, what are the other options instead of a save exactly as seen? Oh, I'll show you. So let's actually save it anyway, because we are at 42. So we'll save the Leo triplet. And don't worry, the entire frame is being saved, so it's saving all this. And if we look at this and say, go down here, it'll say save as a raw 32-bit stack, right? Save with adjustments, okay? And that is if I was to make further adjustments, it'll save all of them. Save exactly as seen. So that's what you have there. Now, we are going to move to a larger server, guys. It will be transparent to you. But that larger server is going to allow us to do something else we haven't done yet. See the raw frames here? Each of these is a frame, and we take many, many frames. But we don't save them all. We just stack it dynamically inside, and we save the stack. Now what we're going to start doing is save. We're saving stacked, right? We could save stacked, but we're going to save all. So we're going to end up saving all the individual frames. And that's going to be something that we're going to be doing. And that saving all the individual frames will allow everybody, including you, to take them in and stack them if you want. Now, I got to warn you, we probably have the best option here because we're doing this, what's called a full width half maximum, this full width half maximum filter. What this does is it looks at the actual size of the stellar image, and it wants it to be as small as possible. So that's what it's going to do, is pick the size that makes it the smallest, and that's why it's doing this test. And if I have a threshold value here that's set down at, say, 4, no frames will come in. But if I have a threshold value set at, this is like 6.5, 6.82, 6.67, then we will start to have data that is stored and saved because it reaches that threshold value. This is a very good number to have. Huh?
I have an answer for you.
Oh, great. Let's hear what the Hamburger Galaxy's been interacting with.
Well, it's the article on the hamburger didn't say. It's NGC. What's the number again? 3628?
3628, I believe.
Yeah. The article from Messier 66 says that it interacted with 3628.
This guy.
Yes.
Yeah, see, when we talked about it originally because of the way it looked, and you said, well, that one's so much further away. But the fact is, this was possibly, maybe more massive. So look how big it is, and it's much further away. It's a much bigger galaxy than this one. So its gravitational attraction could definitely mess with us from over a certain distance.
And I have an answer for that also.
Okay.
3628 is also 35 million light years away.
Okay, so it was wrongly stated.
Yep. So they're all about the same distance. And okay, I take back what I said. It's quite likely that, yes, 66 interacted with the hamburger.
Excellent.
So there.
That's good. It's what we thought, and I'm glad you were able to confirm it. So, we got 50 frames here. We're going to save these now. Okay. And those will be up on the server in about 30 seconds. By the way, Mr. Dranak, nice to see you. Let's see, it's, the Dranak. The Dranak 12. Nice to see you. I have a telescope and never learned how to use it. I'm here to learn. All right, well, Dranak, tell me what you got for a telescope. Maybe I can point you in a direction that might be of help. All right, we're going to get out of this right now. We're done with this. The data's up there. If you want to see what you're going to get, if you go up there right now, that's what you get. Bang. You can download it. It's free to download. Enjoy. You can zoom in and check out the galaxies and their structure. It's really something else. So feel free. And, you can look at all these other galaxies in the image. Look at that. That is nice. It looks like a wheel coming right at you on edge.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Mr. Django, how you doing? Excellent. Okay. And just to be safe, we'll do one more. Okay. That's up there on its way to the server. It'll be available to you in just a few minutes. So we're going to go back to our night vision mode, our low light mode, I should call it. And we are going to move to another galaxy that Daryl has asked for.
Before that, if you want to hit the Grand Slam, hit M95 and 96.
Oh, yeah, well, they're on the way.
M105, they are on the way.
Yep, they are.
I think the third one's M105, if I remember right.
I think you're right. Let's see. Let me back out of here a little more. Here we go. It's these guys right here. All right. Yeah, this will be a pretty scene. Let's go there, shall we? We can just go to this location. We don't have to go to we don't have to go to a specific galaxy, but I'll do it anyway with this just to.
Yeah, I forgot. M105 is not quite in the same field of view as 95 and 96.
Correct.
They're
But
just down to.
It's with 3384 and 3389.
Yeah.
All right, let's get our. There it is. Right there. All right. Well, that's good placement already. We don't have to monkey with it. We got two galaxies here, I think.
Yeah, third fainter one to the lower left.
This red square, guys, is the field of view of the telescope. All right. And eagle eyes out there will notice that it's 1.5 degrees by 1 degree in size. So if we zoom out a little bit, you can see it's almost 1.5 and 1.29, 1 degree 30 minutes, which is about 1.5 degrees. And its other dimension is 59.62 minutes. So almost 1 degree. So 1.5 degrees by 1 degree in size, that corresponds to this size. So that's what we got. So let's go back now to our Galaxies. There we are. Alright, and now what we'll do is we are going to take a exposure. We'll do another 25-second exposure. There we go. We'll come out of our low light shot here. I'm going to make a little thing. I'm going to jog it just a bit, and it may or may not affect our image, or it might. And if it does, I'll just clear it and do it again. So these are up there now, so we'll have that with no problem. All right. So now we're going to be looking at another set of 3 galaxies, but these are much closer together, and they're a little more exciting. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do.
Just a second here. Ranjit asked any chance on the Leo Quartet, HCG 44. I had looked that up. They look really interesting, Ranjit, but I think they may be beyond the scope of this telescope. They look very small and they're ultraviolet.
Yeah, this is what happens when you change parameters in the middle of things. You just get that. So I'll have to clear this and start again. All right. So we're almost done with this first exposure. You can see the yellow progress bar over there. Okay, 1 second at 0, and let's get it. We should see a green bar. Yeah, we do. There we go. And let's go back to our histogram. So here's our 3 galaxies. Right here. We'll let those come in. We're going to... Now, I say let those come in. It'd be fair to ask what that means. We take a picture at 25 seconds, as you can see up there. And then we take another picture at 25 seconds. And we align that first picture with the second picture and stack the data on top of each other. We create a stack. Okay? We just keep doing that, like an image sandwich. And the image sandwich's purpose is to get rid of all the random noise. And the random noise is this stuff you see in between the stars. And it affects the image you're looking at. If you take one image, it's going to be noisy. But if you actually stack images, the noise goes away little by little. To cut the noise in half, you have to take twice as many images for that to happen. So if you go to 25 images that you've stacked, to get a noticeable improvement, you have to go to 50. And obviously we don't do that often. But as you can see, we got 4, which is better than 2 images, right? And let's just kind of zoom in a little here. You'll also notice up above here in our telescope view, you see this, we have a spider web in there. That may be a black widow. We have black widows in there, along with scorpions and along with tarantulas. We found a tarantula under the computer, and Dale, one of the guys that is the husband of Tara, saw it and said, "Oh, look how cute!" And he puts his hand down, and it crawls up on him, and he's looking at it. It was the size of the hand, of the size of your hand. It's up on his forearm, and I got pictures of it. And then he just lets it go outside. They're not aggressive. They don't want to bite anything. As long as you're gentle, they're gentle. Yeah, Donald Kunzer, hey, welcome, by the way. Yeah, it said 2,500 seconds. I mistyped it, apparently, so now it's 25 seconds. I got that right now. Okay, so now these galaxies are not, they don't seem to have as much of a personality as the previous three.
Yeah. The one on the right is a Messier object.
It is, it's bright. That's 105.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these are NGC guys right here, NGC objects. Let's take a look at Measure 105 for a second. Okay. Measure 105 is given as an E1. That's a slightly elongated elliptical galaxy. And so elliptical galaxies are strange beasts. We have spirals, we have barred spirals, we have elliptical galaxies, we have dwarf galaxies, we have ring galaxies. There's a whole bunch. But of the ellipticals, they start as almost round spheres, and they end with very elongated shapes. The elongated shapes are progressively more and more all the way out to E7. When you're at E1, like this is, E1 is very interesting because you can see when you look at these galaxies that there's no dark lanes, there's no dust, there's no gas. These galaxies seem to be beyond the star-making phase. So all that's left for them is for their stars to either go supernova or go to white dwarfs, in which case they'll release dust and gas into the mix. And so either they're an early stage of development of galaxies, a very late stage of development, or a set of galaxies that are peculiar in the way they have interacted with the surrounding interstellar medium to become the ellipticals that they are. And we don't really know. There's papers out there in the Astrophysical Journal. There's papers about the potential morphology of elliptical galaxies. But it's really hard to tell. You know, everything moves so slow between, with us because, we only have a human lifetime to gauge it over, and we don't have anything beyond. We just have history.
Speaking of, it was discovered by Pierre Michel, who was a contemporary of Messier, just a few days after he discovered Messier 95 and 96, which hopefully we might look at next. And
we just looked at 95 and 96. Or did we? No, we looked at 65.
No, we didn't. Well, excuse me, yes. I was 95 and 96, yes. We were going to look at hopefully 65 and 66, which is just down below. And Messier 105 is 36.2 million light years away, so I would guess it's in the same neighborhood as the other galaxies we did just look at. Hamburger 95 and 96.
Yeah.
It is also the biggest elliptical galaxy in the Messier catalog that is not in the Virgo cluster.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Michael's Asylum makes a comment about tarantulas that is actually true, and that is that they're very sensitive. If you were to drop one from your hand onto the ground because you panic, you could kill it. They're very sensitive creatures, but they are not to be messed with if you're a mouse or some type of insect or another spider. They will very, very quickly make short work of you. They have fangs that are about a 1/4 inch long, maybe a little bit longer, up to a 1/2 inch about. And the southwestern tarantulas in the southwestern U.S. are not poisonous, but they'll give you a nasty bite, and that nasty bite will probably prompt you to fling them off of you, and you'd kill them for sure. So if you could get your wits about you and just pull them off of you and set them down, well, of course, that'd be a miracle if you could do that. But yeah, you're right, Michael's Asylum. Christine says, I wonder what the bluish green ball is in the top right. If you're talking about this, that's a star, as is this. This is an orange one at the upper left. These are all foreground stars. These are stars here in our galaxy, if you look at my hand down here. Okay, and the galaxies are way out here, way, way, way far away, millions of light years away, beyond the stars. So we're looking at all the galaxies always through the veil of a bunch of foreground stars.
Mark, Chris asks if the star has a name. Might we take a look at it in Stellarium?
Okay, sure. Yeah, I didn't see her right if the star has a name. Well, let's go see. That would be this star here.
Yeah.
And it's actually got several names. It's known by the Smithsonian Astrophysical Observatory catalog as star 99280. Okay. It's also known as HD Henry Draper catalog star 93273, and then the Hipparchus HIP catalog of 52683. How romantic! The star doesn't have any name, and the reason it's not a really interesting name is because as bright as it looks in here, it's really quite dim. Our telescope is very capable of showing you things like that. And you're welcome, Chris. Thank you so much for asking. Those are good questions.
Oh, that is 95 and 96, just below these.
Yeah. Okay.
What we looked at were 65 and 66. And
Yeah.
the hamburger.
That's right. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to call this M105 region. I'll call it M Galaxies. And we'll save it. And save as exactly as seen. Do one more quick processing run on it to see if we can do something here. Let's do this. Darken up the background a little. Let's see if we can haul out some hidden data that might be in there. Alright, that's going to come back in very quickly here. There we go. That's pretty cool. Alright, so we'll save it like that. And then save it again, exactly as seen. The FITS file is an astronomical file format, guys. It's raw. You know, if you look at the data, you might not even see a star. It might not get anything. But they're in there. All the data is there. It's a very, very highly detailed image. You just don't see it. You have to use processing to bring it out. But rather than make you do that, I do that for you, and that's what I'm saving here. I'm doing all this processing for you. So that's on there. And guys, if you haven't subscribed, please do. Please do, and consider joining our Patreon, hanging out with us. And then what you do, if you join the Patreon, you actually get a lot, depending on your level, you get the highly processed finished images worthy of putting on a wall or a big painting or a big picture, if you wanted to do that. And you can even get the big pictures even without joining the Patreon. You could go and order these beautiful paintings and photos now if you wanted to. When we get to the summer sky, maybe that'll tempt you when you see how beautiful the nebulae are that we capture in the summer. And then this summer will be the first time with this camera too, because this is a new camera that's fully tuned to this telescope.
Let's
All right,
say
Darryl.
105.
Yeah.
The wiki article has a nice Hubble image of it, and it shows what may be a ray, a stream, a jet, whatever, coming out of it, rather like M87.
Where is it?
And the Hubble pick is at about 10 o'clock to the upper left. I don't know your orientation compared to that of Hubble, though. There is a supermassive black hole inside M105,
Yeah.
200 million suns.
Okay.
Maybe that's shooting it out.
I mean, I see something here.
I'll drop a link to the image in chat.
Okay. All right. Well, this image has been saved multiple times, so we'll keep that for next time. We want to look at something a little more conducive to a beautiful image. So let's do that. So we're going to go now and drop us back to, we'll go to 33%. And then we'll go to our attached planetarium and take us to the south to these guys, M96 and M95. M96 and M95 are really cool galaxies, and we're just going to go there. I'm going to tell it to go to this tiny little nondescript star, and it's going to actually put these two things in the view for us. And you'll see them as two bright spots. There they are. Bang, bang. Look at that. Nicely done. Oh, Chris says she subscribed, I think, or he or she, sorry. I think you're probably a female because it's Christine, I'm guessing. Said, I subscribed when you were on Spaced Out Radio the other day. Fantastic. I did get a bunch of subscribers. I'm really happy because it allows me to share some of the amazing things that we're seeing here. And besides, you get a personal astronomer, you know, and me and then Daryl, so I think that's pretty cool. Okay, now, okay, so let's move a little bit to the west, just a little bit, because I want to center up here. All right, there we go. Now we're searching, as you can see up there. It says searching right there. All right. And then we'll start off the exposure, and then I'll mention one more time what's going on here. Okay, so we're going to do, again, it'll be a 25-second exposure. Here we go. Underway. When you see the yellow bar, it's underway. Okay. Go into our live stack. And we'll have the last guys in there. We're gonna clear this because that's been saved already. All right.
Ranjit, it's a remote observatory. Mark is in the U.S. state of Connecticut. The observatory is out in the Arizona desert, about 2,500 miles away.
Yep. I'll be out there doing some modifications and upgrades to the telescope in a couple weeks. Yeah, I was pioneering some remote technology to be able to control the telescopes from far away. I've actually talked to Avi Loeb's team about it because he's got Project Galileo, and hopefully when they move to the point of installing these systems, they'll utilize what I can do to help make them remotely operated and allow them to get data from them and so forth. It's all very important stuff. Michael's Asylum asks, how big is the telescope? Well, you look at it right here, obviously you can't really tell the size, huh? But the building is 11 feet by 11 feet in size. The telescope, that length right there, the length of the physical length you're looking at, that's about 5 feet, actually. Maybe just about 5 feet. And the telescope's diameter is 10 inches. and that allows us to capture everything with the f1.8 focal ratio. That's photographically very fast, so we don't have to expose very long to get lots of data. So a 25-second exposure is showing all the detail in these galaxies. I mean, look at this. And this is really, really cool. All right, so let's color correct, get our curves all aligned. There we go. And then we're going to write up our curve. Now, this white curve you see here, this is the average curve for all the red, green, and blue curves here. The sensors are RGB, red, green, and blue. And so what we're doing is these yellow lines represent where we are on the data with those curves. And you can see that the white curve goes down, and it gets all wonky down here. That's where it starts to get muddy. But if we move this down, this yellow line here, this is the actual data we're taking in. Okay, so if we come up to the curve here, then our line, our data starts here, and everything under this curve is the data that we're seeing on the screen. You might say, well, you're losing all this data. Well, let me show you how much data is actually there. If we back up here and go to the left of the curve right there, it looks like that. Okay, you might say, well, that looks pretty cool, but then if we want to include all the data, the yellow line is what's important. So we take that yellow one and we bring it over and we start to include as much as we can. You'll see what happens. It's getting extremely bright, and that's something we don't want. So what we do is we measure and take the amount of data on the curves, and it's a very, very careful measurement that gives us the right amount of darkness in the sky for contrast without losing data. You know, because if I go past that black point, go to the peak, that's as dark as we would go. If you go further than that, look what happens. Okay, now you're losing data. You don't see the outer fringes of the galaxy. So going up to the curve just to the left of the peak is the most appropriate thing to do. And that's what we're doing right here. And this here is the mid-range. The more we bring this down, the softer noise will be in the image as well. We will lose some data. Pretty.
Mark,
Yeah.
2 streams in a row now, we've had requests for the Cat's Eye Nebula. It is presently, let me look again, it is about as high in the northeast as Polaris is in the north. Is that high enough to look at yet?
What's the actual altitude?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, again,
Well,
it's higher
let's find
than
out.
it's even with Polaris right now, just maybe a hair above Polaris.
Okay, well, let's actually look for it. The Cat's Eye is beautiful. I love looking at it. It won't be as good, though. Cat's Eye Nebula.
It's in Draco.
Yeah. And let's see what it says for altitude. 30 degrees, not high enough yet.
Okay.
But it's getting higher. So we will be able to see it.
We can or we will be. I said in an hour a few minutes ago.
That's about right.
Okay.
That's about right. But it's almost 1 o'clock now, so we may have to wait till later in the season. But that's okay. Let me this is M95, right?
All right, my bad. I was looking at Stellarium for Colorado Springs.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not high enough yet.
All right.
So M95 and 96.
Yeah, that's where we are.
96
Okay.
is the one that has a steering wheel kind of look to it.
That's right. It's this guy.
No, the other one, 96 on the left, isn't it?
Well, this one looks like it has a steering wheel. Let's go see. M95 is the one on the right.
Yeah.
So that has the steering wheel.
M96 has a steering wheel.
Yeah, they both do. All right, and if you want to understand what that means, if you can read this, maybe you can't. This says SB, capital S, capital B, and then B. Okay, a little b. SB is spiral barred, meaning it has a bar. And when I say bar, we come back here and we zoom in on this, and I'll show you the bar. You can see the bar. It's right there,
Okay.
right across the center.
You can see the steering wheel now, too.
And you can see that the spiral arms come off the ends of these bars. These are extended nuclei in these galaxies. And then you see the spiral arms coming off of these. Okay, for this other one, right over here, it's also an incredible galaxy, and it looks to me like it's also a barred spiral, and it has a lot of dust in it too. And to see that, let's go back and come back here and look at emission 96. This one is it's a barred spiral as well, and it is it's a more, let me see if it's tightly wound. I think it's more tightly wound. Yeah, it's this one. Okay, spiral galaxies come as little A's, little B's, and little C's. A is really tightly wound spiral arms. B's are a little more loose. Andromeda's a loose one. And C's are kind of sloppy, open arms, like Messier 33, the triangulum galaxy that we see. Okay, and so this one is an SB, okay, barred spiral, and then the other designations hold, A, B, and C. This one is kind of between A and B, so they call it capital S, capital B, then little AB. So it's sort of a fairly tightly wound, but it's a barred spiral, and you can clearly see it. You can actually see the dust lanes right here, and then more here. Look at this. This is really pretty. Let's see if we can draw out a little more data here. Wow. They're like eyeballs.
Very nice.
Galactic eyeballs. And don't worry, we're going to see the eyes in Virgo before long.
Benjamin, the
Once you
Crescent
see-
Nebula is Cygnus, if I remember correctly.
It is. It's not up yet. Alright, let's let's go over here. And let's take a look. A request came in from Messier 3.
That's globular Kenneth Medici, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and it's oh, I must have given it the wrong thing. I did. Messier 3. Yeah. And let's see what its altitude is. Yes, we can see that. Messier 3 is available to us.
That is in Canada, isn't it?
I believe it is, yes.
Yeah, we were in Canada's Medici the other night. Can we try Leo 1 real quick before we leave Leo?
Okay, let's not forget about Canis Medici, though, okay?
All right.
All right, so let's come in here. This is 26 exposures. We're going to save these. This is not the M105 Galaxies. This is Measure 95 and 96. So M95 and M96 GALs. All right. Drenak, hold on, okay? Because we're going to get there in a second. We do request if there's something up there people want to see, well, we're going to show it to you, man. We love this stuff. Okay. So we're going to save you guys now. That's saved. Save exactly as seen.
We were
All
right by M3 the other night.
Yeah, we were, weren't we?
Yeah. A lot of cool things to see in
Oh, yeah.
Canada Center Teaching.
Yeah. Okay, let's now get back to our low light shot. Okay. And now for Daryl, we're going to look at Leo 1, which is...
Gonna look for Leo 1.
We'll find it. It's not hard to see. We're going to avoid the temptation to Coma Berenices tonight. Okay. Alright, we're coming over toward Regulus. And as we get in here...
It is just north of Regulus.
Right. And I'm believing that that must be it right there.
Yeah. That fuzzy patch to the upper right.
That or this?
The fuzzy patch,
Okay.
I bet.
Well, is it a dwarf galaxy? What is it?
Yes, it's a dwarf galaxy.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's select it. Or at least select a star in it and just go there. Okay,
Larry,
so
I'm going
now...
to tell you what it is.
No, I've got to bring up the catalogs. I have to have the catalogs showing us what they are.
Huh.
It might be in an
Even-
ARP catalog.
Even my online solarium showed Leo 1 right away.
Okay, it might just be that I have to select the data set. So let's go to DSO, which is Deep Space Object. Let's pick Sharpless. Let's pick Caldwell, Vandenberg, Mela, and then SEDS, PGC, and UGC. Oh, and ARP. VV Van Black, where I worked. Haha. Okay. So we get out of that. So let's see. There it is. It's a PGC or UGC. That's what I thought. See? So we're going to go there, and we'll just tell it to go up to that.
Yeah.
Move up.
They
to
call it Regulus Dwarf Galaxy.
Yeah.
Parentheses Leo 1.
Mm-hmm.
Folks, if you've ever heard of or seen the Magellanic Clouds, which are two satellite galaxies of the Milky Way, they're down in the southern sky. We can't see them, but they're the two most prominent satellite galaxies of our Milky Way galaxy. If we find Leo 1 here, it is also a satellite galaxy of the Milky Way, and it may, I forget it, I think it may be the farthest one away. It's like 800,000 light years away, whereas the Magellanic Clouds are 200,000 or less. It is a member of the local group. It's way out. If the center of the galaxy in Sagittarius is downtown, this is like the little bedroom town way out in the sticks outside town. But it does belong with the Milky Way.
Okay, we'll have Regulus just out of view. So it should be right in here. And we can actually annotate that too. We can do that right now, actually. Let's bring this up. Alright, so now we're going to do a whole sky plate solve here to show us what's in the field. Plate solving in progress. That's interesting. It finds IC 591, but it doesn't have that. But I should have that right now. Regular should be in our view, just at the bottom of our view. So I have Regulus here. It has 591, but it doesn't have Regulus dwarf galaxy. Interesting. Well, annotation doesn't always work right. I mean, it's not that. It doesn't have enough information sometimes. But that's all right. Well, anyway, enough of that. We're underway. So let's try and check it out. Let's get rid of this. Get out of night mode. There. That's our way overexposed images. We're going to clear those. Let's see if we can see the dwarf galaxy.
Benjamin, M97 Owl Nebula. Yes, it should be visible. It's in Ursa Major. When we go up and look at M3 in Canis, we can. I think I see it right there. That little fuzzy patch.
There, right there.
No, yes, that's it right there.
Yeah, because that up here, that's a lens flare from Regulus.
Yeah. So that little teeny fuzzy patch there.
Hang on, we're going to get better.
That is a satellite of the Milky Way.
Mm-hmm.
800,000 light years away.
Very cool. And clearly it's not a lens effect from Regulus, and you know why? Because this is a lens effect, and lens flares are symmetrically across the center of the frame. So if we put the center of the frame in here, okay, Regulus a little to the right, symmetrically across from it, we're going to have a lens flare off the frame just in the same amount, and that's what we see. Yeah, there we go.
Benjamin, Sirius is 8 light years away. The closest star is Alpha Centauri, which is 4 some odd light years away. And we can't see Alpha Centauri from here. It's too far south.
Yeah, even
for me
in
anyway.
Arizona.
Huh?
Even in Arizona, I can't see Alpha Centauri.
Yeah.
However, we will be able to see Omega Centauri with the new telescope, because our enclosure is actually a pop top lid, and it's going to just come off with linear actuators, open up, and allow the whole telescope to see all around. Now that's going to allow us to see mountains. It's going to allow us to see trees, cactus. It's going to allow us to see other things too. But it's also going to subject us to more wind. So we have to be cognizant of the fact that we're going to be a little more windy. But that's okay. We'll be able to work it. There it is. There's the dwarf galaxy. What's this little guy? Let's find out. Let's come back in here. Oh, that's IC 591. So if Regulus is here, then truly just another third of the frame up higher. That's it. That is definitely it.
Can you put Stellarium on Regulus for a second? Lewis wants to know what type of star it is.
Okay.
It's 79 light years away, if I remember correctly. So it's bright. It's not terribly bright. Regulus is actually a quadruple star. I think it's two spectroscopic
Bs.
binary pairs.
Yeah, they're like late Bs, I believe. So a late, like a G star, a late G is a G 7, 8, or 9, and the youngest is a G0. I think these are B9s. I think that it's a B9 star here. Benign, no, B9. And it's 79 light years away, yeah. Very good.
Okay, well, thank you for indulging me.
Yeah, no, I mean, we actually lost the frame here. One frame was not accepted. Okay, well, we were very close.
Is the wind picking up?
No, it's just because I had this at the running right above the threshold.
Oh.
So we're good. We have 10 shots here. I am going to save it like this after I make a note of what it is. Leo 1 Dwarf Galaxy. And we'll save it. Because we want to move on to some other things. Because it's after 1 a.m. and I want to do some more things before night time. Alright. So let's do that. Let's go here. Back to our night vision mode here.
You do M3 now?
Yeah, we're gonna do light. We're gonna do M3 for Drenak. You asked for it.
And Benjamin, I think, asked for M97 Owl Nebula, which is in Ursa Major. That's right up in the same neighborhood.
So we might be able to do that then, huh?
Yeah.
And the Surfboard Galaxy is in the same view as the Owl Nebula.
Okay. Michael's a silent. The moons of Jupiter are not visible. Jupiter is down. Jupiter's set in the west right after sunset. Jupiter's going away, and if we can't see Jupiter, we can't see the moons.
Yep.
Okay, Izabela.
What did she say?
She'll walkies. She'll be right back.
She has to go walk her dog.
Oh, walkies.
What are we going to go on walkies?
Who was the English lady that said that? Walkies.
Wasn't that I know what it was.
Famous elderly lady.
Yes. Oh, darn it.
Walkies.
Someone in chat will know. Okay, well, here's Measure 3, Drenak, and we're going to actually take some photos for you.
She had a show on the BBC, if I remember correctly.
Yes, you do. You do remember correctly. You know, a funny show that I watched the entire seasons of was Mrs. Brown's Boys. And the reason it was funny was because Mrs. Brown was actually a guy, an actor who actually made a character, kind of like Robin Williams made Mrs. Doubtfire kind of a thing. So, this is Twilight, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. This is a lullaby. No, don't fall asleep. See, here it is. You can't
Michael
hear it.
H. says it was Barbara Woodhouse.
Okay.
That's her.
Haha. Okay, this doesn't need very long exposures, so we can do this in just 15 seconds. Okay, one more. Oops, I think I went too many. Okay. There we are. And now we'll go into our live stack. Welcome, children. Tonight's bedtime story is The Stars That Knew Too Much. All right.
Messier
Look at
3 is
that.
a pretty big globular. It
Look at it.
18 arc minutes across.
Yeah.
That's more than half the diameter of the moon in the sky.
Yeah. Let's go back to our processing histogram here.
Interesting. Messier 3 was the first Messier object to be discovered by Charles Messier himself, not Messier 1.
Fantastic. Jessica S. How are you? Nice
Why
to
is
see you.
this Messier 1?
Because nebulae always win out. They're cooler.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay. Oh, this is neat. Messier 3. Good job, Drenak. Thank you for suggesting that. It's a little gem hiding out here in the sky, but look how perfect it is.
It is.
And there's a galaxy with us, too. Look at that. Do you guys see the galaxy here?
Yes. That's a very nice globular.
It is. It's pretty. Really, really pretty. Oops. Mistake and draw. Okay. Now let's see if we can... I'm looking to see if there's other galaxies. Undoubtedly there is, but I can't. I only see this one.
500,000 stars.
Yeah.
32,600 light years away from Earth.
Yeah. Interesting thing about these stars and these globular clusters, guys, is that many of them, most of them, in fact, don't have any elements in their composition beyond helium. And the reason is because these are among the first stars made in the entire universe. 13.8 billion years ago. Many of these clusters are extremely old, and so the stars are known as population 2, stars that have only the very basest of elements in their composition, because there weren't enough supernovas back then when these stars were first made to litter the cosmos with the material that makes up the sun. For instance, the sun has a full spectrum called the Fraunhofer spectrum, showing calcium, potassium, phosphorus, magnesium, hydrogen, of course, helium, oxygen, all these different elements in the Fraunhofer spectrum. And these stars show predominantly hydrogen and helium. And that tells us what was available when the star was made, because we're seeing the spectrum of the star that tells us what it's made of. And that spectrum is going to be a very old spectrum when there weren't a lot of additional elements around. So what's that tell us about planets in the globular cluster? That tells us that we probably won't see too many planets in globular clusters at all, because there's not enough material in these clusters to actually make planets, okay? Because planets are not made of hydrogen and helium only. They're made of a lot of other stuff. So we don't see that in these clusters.
And that's a shame. Nobody to enjoy the view. There must be a heck of a view from inside there.
Yeah. We sometimes combine Space Image with our streams, and we'll run Space Engine and show people like going through a globular cluster at the same time as we're looking at one, so you can see what it looks like to be going through that cluster. Benjamin says, is there a program that counts the stars, or did someone actually take the time to count these individual stars? There are statistical analyses done, Benjamin, and computer models can give us a count of the stars. But in the old days, it was indeed a hand count. They do a quadrant, and they would say, well, since it's symmetrical, we can actually multiply that by 4 and get the flat plane contents, and then go in and out to figure out how close it is to us at the near side and how far it is away from us on the far side, and get a more accurate count.
Not to sound sexist, but that's what they used to have lady astronomers and assistants do. Mundane tasks like counting stars.
Yeah, and then you had women like Annie Jump Cannon, who were superstars in astronomy and were responsible for modern spectroscopic work with stars, so they certainly had their place and did a phenomenal job. Okay, 22 inches here. This is beautiful. Okay, so Dranak, this is for you. Oops, I saved it wrong. My mistake. It's in the wrong. I gotta do this again. M3, and it's probably gonna give me a. Yeah, exactly. No, not M35. M3. Measure 3. Globular cluster. Yes, do that.
Let's say Messier 3 or Messier 1. I can't read it.
It's Messier 3.
Okay.
And I'll save it. No, that wasn't a problem. It's there. It's in the M3 globular cluster directory now. Okay.
Lady Izabela left. She likes globular clusters.
I know that she was tired one time and fell asleep during the stream. She is in Bulgaria, guys, so it's the middle of the night for her, or just coming into morning, so she has to get some sleep to work. This is really pretty, though.
Actually, it's after 8 a.m. there.
Yeah, so she has to get some sleep during the night.
Yeah. She took her dog out for a walk, remember?
Oh, that's right.
She'll be back.
Yeah,
that's
can't keep her away.
Blubber. That's great.
Yeah, and the view is beautiful. The guiding is perfect. Okay, we'll save this one more time here. Dranak, this will be up on the SkyTour live stream server found at skytourlive.org. It'll be labeled M3GC, Global Cluster, so you can go download it. And in fact, this is the image you're going to get ready right there. That's the image you get. So you can crop it if you like and end up with that. Your call. Thank you for the suggestion. Now we have the owl to do, I believe. That's M97, isn't it?
Yes.
So let's go do the owl. First things first, let's get rid of this. And do this. Measure 97, and then we'll also get the surfboard galaxy. I suspect that's going to look really pretty too. Uh-oh. Let's see where this is. Altitude. What do we got? Ursa Major is below. Okay, it's by Dubai and Merak. Altitude is... it is good. Okay, good. Let's go there. Let's do the time warp today. Telescope's going to point way back. There it
Look,
goes.
Ursa Major's westering already.
Yep.
Sure is. It's
Here it is. This is a beautiful planetary nebula. Ursa Major should be right overhead now. Relative.
yeah. The ball's actually west of the meridian already.
Yeah.
Meridian's passing through the handle.
Mm-hmm. I'm at 50% enlarged here right now. So when I zoom out, we should be able to see the surfboard galaxy up above it. And I'll just zoom out now if I can. Let's go to 25 right now. And there's a surfboard. So let's put them both in the shot. Surfboard is really quite a lovely galaxy. It's really stunning. And we may want to just do this. OG Skywatch. Love me some Silver Surfer. Yep. All right. So what I'm going to do now is just bring this down a little bit. So we have the galaxy here and this gorgeous planetary there. And I think our focus is good right here. I think I accounted for mirror flop, but I'm going to zoom right in and see.
I never got the Silver Surfer. He was...
Oh, look at that. It's not quite focused.
he was Fantastic Four, wasn't he?
I thought so. He was a villain for the Fantastic Four, no?
Was he a villain?
Okay. I don't remember. I thought so.
Or he worked for one of the big guys or something?
Yeah, maybe. Okay. I am going to now do a focus run. Let's do this. Let's do this. Now you notice it says too few stars here, but that's going to change in a moment. Here we go. Now it's getting stars. And it's going to end up getting more and more and more stars. And get us a perfect focus. Hey, Chevron
Yes.
Cox, how are you?
Silver Surfer got a start in Fantastic Four number 48, 1966.
Wow.
Okay, he served as the Herald of Galactus, who was a great big guy, planet devourer.
Okay, so he was a villain.
He did it to save his home world, so maybe not a villain so much as he did what he had to do.
Yeah.
He had vast powers, so Fantastic Four helped him rediscover his nobility of spirit. Betraying Galactus, he saved Earth but was exiled there as punishment.
Okay.
So it's complicated, I guess.
Yeah, it's like relationship complicated. Okay, we can see our focus curve here. We should get a vertical line right about there. When it finds the right focus, the lower number, the smallest number, is the right one. As long as these don't throw it off. and they did. Okay, so we're gonna reset that, and we're gonna head back in.
Donuts. Who brought donuts?
Yeah, here we go. We got donuts. Hey, you know what? You want to see round donuts in these telescopes.
Better be enough for everybody.
That's right. Okay, so we're going to do this. Now we start with stars that it can see. That's part of the issue sometimes. Hey, JSCO 77. Haven't seen you for a while. How you been? Okay. Telescope has a new home at my son's house. His wife loves it, and the two kids, 7 and 13, well, what can you say? They're all excited about it. Thank you again for such a wonderful gift. Well, you're welcome, brother. JSCO won a telescope from us because we do giveaways of equipment here. And that is something that he managed to get from us in our contest. We'll be... Izabela's back. We will get more contests underway as we get out past Contact in the Desert, and then we'll be ready to do that. And it's not because we can't do it, it's because the donor that does this is Calabos and Tiffany, and Calabos and Tiffany are wonderful friends of SkyTour Livestream. They are the ones providing the equipment. So Calabos works at SpaceX, and so we're trying to work out with his schedule of work. We're trying to work out a way to include him and Tiffany in everything that we're doing. So let's see.
Well, to talk about donuts.
Yeah.
I haven't had a donut in so long, I cannot remember. It's been
Really?
years. years and years. Doesn't mean I don't want one. I don't let myself have donuts, so.
Yeah, we don't like donuts in our telescopes either. Okay, well, for whatever reason, it didn't find it exactly. I managed to do it here, so we're okay, I think. So what I'm going to do is move this over a little more, move to the west. And that way we have the galaxy here, the surfboard galaxy, and this planetary nebula. This planetary is eerie. This is the first time I've taken photos of this planetary with this camera. Because we took pictures of all over the sky, but we're taking pictures now based on this new camera, and boy, I'll tell you, some of them are just knockouts. Okay, so that's good. So let's set up our shot here. We're going to do 25 seconds. And we'll start going. We're streaming. I'm sorry, we're guiding. Now we'll come into our live stack. Remove the previous. If it's not there, oh, there we go. That's up on the server already long ago. And let's check it out. I can't wait to see this. Wow, surfboard's looking good. And oh, look at that. That's looking beautiful. Owl's looking great. Let's color correct. There you go. And we're actually in good shape with the line with this. You notice you can see the central star in the planetary right there. You see that thing right in there? You're looking at a white dwarf star right there, guys. That's a white dwarf.
I see it.
And yeah, it's pretty obvious. And in the Owl Nebula, its distance is about 2,000 light years. So that's pretty far away. And I think 2,000 light years being that distant, it's actually rather impressive that you can see an Earth-sized object, namely the white dwarf star, the dead star, right there. You can't miss it. It's right there, in the middle of this thing right there. Okay, that's the white dwarf, and that white dwarf is what's left of the stellar core of the original star that made this envelope of stuff around it. The green is doubly ionized oxygen, and the red fringe is hydrogen that's been ionized. Oh, you see that, the red fringe around here, and it's down here as well. Okay, that stuff is it rings it, but the oxygen in the middle is more dense. So even though there's probably hydrogen in there, we're also seeing the oxygen dominating because it's a higher density of oxygen in there.
Yeah, kind of like the
white dwarf right there.
Kind of like the Dumbbell Nebula. I see just a touch of red up at the top left.
Yep, that's right. Right there.
About 11 o'clock.
And there's a ring of red around here, which will be clear once we get more detail. I'm gonna mute the colors a little bit to help see a little better. That central white dwarf is very obvious now. That's really pretty. Well, let's go drag it up to the surfboard and check it out. Look at that. So the surfboard galaxy, it's galaxy season after all. It's pretty cool. That's kind of a galaxy that's sort of on an angle like this to us. It's not edge on, it's not face on, it's sort of on an angle. We'll come back to you. And there is the beautiful owl, named so because of the two dark areas here. Now, what's interesting is, why do we see a symmetrical dark blob on each side? What is that? It's actually a void in the material. And what causes that? Well, most likely the north or south pole of the star is along that line. And we're seeing a north-south jet, possibly, and most of the material coming out east-west and going out, obviously, sideways. That could indicate that the star was rotating at an angle, all right? Maybe rotating this way, like in an angle. I'm doing this like a circle, into the page, out of the page, into the page, out of the page, you know? So it's very possible. And that's really an incredible little nebula. Let me try and haul out some detail here by pulling that down here. You can see a shell. There's like a shell here. Let's push this down, and let's move the telescope out of the way. And let's just look at this. So let's zoom in on this. There it is. That's pretty.
See the red at 11 o'clock a little more easily now, and
Yeah.
there's sort of a break in the down around 5 o'clock, maybe just a touch of red there.
There is. You can see this little weird break here.
Yeah. The white dwarf is
nebulae
obvious now.
It is, yeah. Planetary nebulae are so called because they look like. Oops, that's not right. Sorry. The planetary nebulae are so called because they tend to be round and they tend to look like dimly lit planets. Kind of a bad name to associate with a planetary nebula. But that's what this is. It's a remnant of not a supernova, but a star that was expanded to a red giant and then contracted, and it didn't contract down to anything but a white dwarf, the stellar core, and the star pulsates in its later years and puffs off the outer layers of the star, which is what you see right here. Okay, those are the outer layers of the star that are sloughed off. And then what happens is that thermal pulses, as they're called, will push that atmosphere of the star away. And it's only in that core where fusion takes place in the star. So the outer layers are just along for the ride, and they can be pushed away from the star. Wolf-Rayet stars do this. Older stars like this do this. Our sun will do this. Alex Lopez, hey, thank you. Thank you very much. That's an interesting question. He says, would orbiting Sagittarius A speed up our Earth time? That's interesting. Because lower gravity slows down metabolism. Scientists have discovered that. And that's pretty cool. So if you're orbiting a higher gravity well, say faster, does that mean that your time speeds up a little? The opposite must be true.
Well, that was the idea in Interstellar, wasn't it? I mean, when he came back to Earth, he aged, they told him he was like 168 years old or something.
That's part of the twin paradox type thing, where they were using the Alcubierre drive to actually travel, and so they end up traveling very fast, and there was a light speed component there, so time slowed for them during their trip, and many more years passed on the Earth while they were traveling. 1 month to them might be 10 years, or 2 years, 3 years on the Earth, whatever it was. We're getting some nice detail in here now. Look at that.
Oh, yeah, really.
I think I can zoom in more now.
Yep. Albert Einstein. All depends on your reference frame.
Yep. Now you can see this other red rim I was talking about.
Yep.
It extends all the way around, and it's just not really there. But you can see this incredible modeling, this line right here. This is like a filamentary structure of hydrogen gas that's extended beyond the scope of the green oxygen 3 that we're seeing. That is cool.
You know what you said about planetary nebulas? I will never forget my first look at the Dumbbell Nebula. I thought it looked like a ghost of the planet Earth.
Oh,
You know, it wasn't green; it was just gray, but
yeah.
it looked almost like you were looking at a globe of the Earth, North and South America kind of thing.
Nice. Hey, Kaiser Ray. Ray is asking about talking about the database. For those that may not have heard earlier, all of our observations are now cataloged thanks to originally Robin Curtis, who was a volunteer with us, and now Izabela, who literally has done this incredible job of finishing the database up to 2024 here, and adding the observations of actually up until April of everything from 2021 to 2024. Robin, I think, did 2021 to 2022, maybe 2023, and Izabela took on the rest. Robin got busy with things, and so Izabela took it on, and we're going to make that database available to all of you so that you can now search for all the times, for instance, that we looked at this guy, and look to see if there's differences in how it looks over time, because things do change over time. Be interesting to see. Ray, we only have 2 beta testers. Beta testers are people that test our software before we let it out there, and the only 2 are me and Izabela right now.
If Ray volunteered, maybe he'd be Beta Ray.
Yeah,
That's a pretty bad joke.
think,
Beta's a particle, isn't it?
Beta particle, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, guys, if you haven't yet, please think about becoming a Patreon member and supporting what we do here. This is something that we're not getting paid to do. It does cost us, so it'd be great if you can help us out. $5 a month, 10, 25. I mean, in the higher tiers, you get finished processed images of these guys without the noise you see around them. It's all processed to be looking clean, worthy of framing. And if you want to get framed stuff and you want to just go right to that, you can go to skytourlive.org right now and get beautiful images on canvas, paper, under glass on a wooden frame, giant images put on blankets. You can get sneakers, swimsuits, boxer shorts with beautiful astronomical things on them, mugs, travel tumblers. So, coasters, mouse pads. Holy cow. We have tons of products up there. And during our radio show, you can see the video that Izabela in chat put together showing a lot of our products online that we make. It's all helpful. We need support. We got to get people involved with us to really start making a difference. Because don't forget, I might have told you this before, but we are adding a second telescope in the coming couple of weeks or to a month. These are our patrons right now. There's more actually, and I gotta add more to that list. But we also want to make sure that what you want to do is understand that we are doing this for the love of it. We're not doing it because we're getting paid, because no one's getting paid. I'm not getting paid. You know, I won't get paid until I know that this thing is well underway with, you know, our multiple observatories, and multiple, by that I mean SkyTour Sonoran, which is in the Sonoran Desert, this one. SkyTour Benson, which will be in Benson, Arizona. SkyTour East, which is going to be here, and that's going to be a solar telescope, and we already have the telescope for it. We need the mount, and we need the enclosure. And then our mobile observatory, which is going to be going around the country and showing the night sky in light polluted skies, like Denver, Colorado, or like you know, places like Colorado Springs or Phoenix or St. Louis, and we'll show people the night sky that's over their heads that they don't realize is there because the light pollution kills it. So we cut through that, and we want to cut through as much of that as we can. So, and then the last potential is a SkyTour Southern Hemisphere, and we want to put a telescope down in Australia. Now, we don't have anyone that can help us do that yet, but I am doing a presentation in July for Australia, and I'm going to be making some new friends, and let's see what we can do there. All right, let's see what we got here for our stack. We've got 34 images stacked here. I'm going to go back to docking this up, and then let's go back to bringing back the telescope right here, and show us what we got to do here.
Gonna do the surfboard.
Yeah, it's up there. It's already in the view. It's up here. It's coming. There we go. Look at that.
It's actually a barred spiral.
It looks pretty.
Kind of hard to tell. It's very inclined to our line of sight.
Yeah. Let's see if we can pull just a little more data out of this. Really nice.
Thank you, JSCL.
Oh yeah, thank you, man. I just saw you gave us something. That's nice. Thanks, brother. That's very kind of you, man. Thank you. It all goes to the cause. Wow. Okay. Well, let's zoom out here now. See, they're in the same field, but it's pretty odd, right? So I have to make sure that I stagger them like that, and I don't like staggering them like that, you know, if I don't have to, but because I want to capture the most detail, and when it's in the central quadrant, that's better.
The owl's about 2,000 light years away, and Messier 108's about 28 or 29 million light years away.
Yeah, there's a big difference between them. This and all these stars are right here in front of us, and this is way out there. You know, this galaxy is way out there. Okay, we're gonna save this now. Save it exactly as seen. That's really pretty. Okay, well, thank you for that suggestion. We will be doing more suggestions as soon as we get them, and if we can.
You know, when
Since
you
we're
see the
here.
owl At
Yeah,
a scale like that, it looked like a green alien.
it did. Thanks to those eyes. Here you can see that the Big Dipper is indeed past the meridian being this line right here. Okay, so let's zoom in on this.
M51's near prime time.
Yeah, it is.
Almost on the meridian.
Yeah, so you might want to consider that's M106. That's another barred spiral. That's sort of an open, messy one.
What's the Galaxies and
And
Kenneth's going to
101.
teach you.
There's a whirlpool. We can do that like you just mentioned. All right, we'll do the whirlpool. Why not? Because it's so high up, it's probably going to be just stunning. And you'd see where the telescope's going. It's going to be aiming up almost straight up. There it is. Okay, let us head to the west a little bit. Okay.
The black eye is up, Izabela. We could talk Mark into going to it. It's in Coma Berenices.
Alex Lopez, thank you. You asked a question. Thank you for the contribution. The sun will expand in 5 billion years. Is that our is that your meaning expectation? Yes. The sun has about 5 billion years of hydrogen fusion to do. Then it will use up the hydrogen, and thus the core will start to contract and get hotter, and that means that the core will then push out with a lot of energy that will cause the outer envelope of the star to bloat into a red giant. That's the first time the sun will turn into a red giant. And then when it gets hot enough in the core, the helium that it turned the hydrogen into will start to ignite and fuse, and when that happens, that's the helium fusion, also known as helium flash, and the sun will do that stably for some thousands of years, and then when it runs out of that, the core again will contract and the star will expand into a red giant again, but the core will never get hot enough to fuse beyond the carbon and oxygen that it may form in the core. All right, so it goes hydrogen to helium, and then when it fuses helium, it's fusing helium into carbon and oxygen and isotopes of nitrogen, and then it will run out of that, and then it can't go anymore. It won't have any temperature to fuse additionally, so it'll just start to shrink back down and cool. So it'll go from this red giant the second time down to a tiny little white dwarf. And when it's doing that, as it's shrinking down, we're talking about the core now, as the core shrinks, it's going to send out a lot more radiation in all directions, and it'll push the outer atmosphere of the star away, leaving just a white dwarf in the center and leaving a shell around the location where our sun is now. That will be a planetary nebula, kind of like the owl we just looked at. So when you look at the owl, you could be seeing what the sun might look like in 5 billion years. Okay, 25 seconds now on this. Get rid of our low light imagery, low light shot, and go into our live stack. All right, and we clear this. Okay. We should see our first image here in just a second. Right about now. There we go. Look at that. Beautiful face-on galaxy. Nice. Now you see the noise around it here, right? Watch now as this second exposure comes in. Watch how much noise is reduced. See that? Look at that. The noise is literally reduced by a ton by seeing that second shot come in.
The extended nebulosity area around the satellite galaxy looks less distinct than it did the other night.
We only have 2 shots. That's why.
Well, yeah.
It's gonna get way better than it was the other night.
And the gain
right
is
now
too.
No, I have the gain. It's at 210 right now, so I dropped it from 250 to 210.
Yeah.
But keep in mind also that a lot of this soft nebulous detail is lost in the noise right now. And to bring that subtle stuff to the surface, you've got to stack more images to bring that brightness up higher, so the signal to noise ratio is much improved. And that's what we're doing right now by taking many shots.
Lewis, how long do the planetary nebula gases expand before it dissipates? I think you're talking more on the neighborhood of thousands of years, not millions of years. Mark could probably say more. As far as how far do they expand, planetary nebulas often have a certain limiting size, like on the order of maybe a light year or two across. It's a matter of when the material ejected gets far enough away from the white dwarf that the energy is not enough to excite emission from those gases any longer, so it looks dark. Somebody posted APODs to links to an APOD image from a couple of days ago of an extended, a very deep exposure of the Ring Nebula, which does show a whole lot more material way out there in the outer edges of the ring that we don't normally see. It's all faint red stuff.
Yeah. Now see, that stuff's already coming in better.
Okay.
This will be our last object, guys, because I do have to get some sleep. I don't want to, though. I gotta force myself. I'm not kidding. And it's one of the last things I'll say to Cosmic Ray. You need to be nice. Be nicer. Don't like having to admonish people in my chat. But you seem to be a repeat offender. And you're a really smart guy. I don't know why you do this. Alex Lopez says, solar planets make noise as it reaches the Earth. Solar's planets. The sun makes noise, yes. The sun is loud in the radio spectrum. I built a radio telescope in one of the jobs when I was actually teaching astronomy at a science center. And I built it with a guy there named Dan. And that the sun, when that would come into view of the radio telescope, we'd have static, and it was just crazy and noisy. But when we tuned the radio telescope to listen to Io, Jupiter's moon Io, because it also gives off radio signals, and when the sun was there, it would overwhelm them. But when it wasn't, we could actually discern Io's sodium torus, sodium atoms, and the radio interference they were causing that are in Io's orbit around Jupiter. That's really, really incredible. So different types of telescopes, get different types of data, and radio telescopes are really fun. I don't know if I can show you this. Maybe I can. Let's go see. I'm going to show you something. Let me do it this way. Here we go. Alright, yeah, here we go. So, my Rumble thing is saying, I don't know if this is going to show. I may have to turn off. We're bringing in some stuff here, so this is good. I'm going to show my background just for a minute. Okay. And I'll enlarge this so you can see it. Okay. This is out at the Very Large Array in Socorro, New Mexico. Go away. Go away. All right. All right. So that's at the Very Large Array. Well, it was. I promise. And that's pretty cool because that's a array. It's a Y-shaped array of 23 telescopes. Each one is 80 feet in diameter, and they can move them up and down railroad tracks with a mover. They bring a mover out and it drags it down the track. And when it does, is it sets it up in an array that they can then utilize to spot different things. And those different things are things like the center of a galaxy versus a radio jet coming out from a specific radio emitting object. And it allows them to get better resolution or less resolution. But the 80-foot diameter dish, together they're in a Y pattern, and they all act together. They act like one big giant telescope. It's really cool. Michael's Asylum says he's not too far from Palm Springs. Well, I'm going to be in Indian Wells, Michael. And I'll be doing my my talk on the string theory concepts behind interstellar travel. At a lay level, everybody will understand it. I've done this all over the country, and people love it. I'll also be doing a live SkyTour live stream. We're going to do it with a live studio audience. And then I'm going to do an intensive 3-hour lecture that's going to be on the universe and our place in it. And it's going to end with a study of Earth history in a very unique way by putting the Earth on Earth's developments and evolution on a roll of toilet paper. So I'll be doing that too. It's very interactive stuff. What's that?
I knew it. I knew toilet paper was in there somewhere.
And toilet paper's got to be in there. Yeah, it's a really cool way to visualize the universe and the time scales. For those that can't be there, what you would see is that the Earth on this 117-foot roll of toilet paper, the dinosaurs came into existence only about a foot and a half ago. And then at about 18 inches away, they died. 18 inches from today on that scale out of 117 feet. So what that means is that dinosaurs are recent history, not ancient history. And that's just one of the many revelations you see. During that part of the talk, you learn why Earth is extremely obvious to alien life and would have been obvious for the longest time. And that's something that is also very important. You know, why would aliens see us at all? And why could we have more than one group of aliens here on the Earth if that was the case? And it's just science. That's all it is science. Look, we got another
I see
galaxy
a face in a satellite galaxy now.
Oh yeah, me too. There's the eyes.
Yeah,
The
I
nose.
don't remember seeing those two dark spots like that before. The
I
two
know, it looks
eyes,
like,
and then the nucleus of the satellite is like the nose.
yeah, it is. Yeah,
Looks like a bear or a weasel or something.
a weasel. I like that. I like it as a weasel. Yeah, this is very detailed. This is actually a very nice shot. You can see this beautiful dark nebula here. If you look carefully, you'll notice this dark nebula is something that looks like it was stolen off of this galaxy or stripped from this galaxy. I've talked about this before, but if you look at this galaxy from the side, the satellite galaxy's down here lower. And the galaxy at the top with its spiral arms, these are its spiral arms, effectively, think of it. That spiral arm right here, okay, that's been pulled toward this thing as it went through it this way. It was pulled and dragged downward. So you see that shape right there? From the top, it looks just like normal. But from the side, what's really going on is this galaxy's gone through and its gravity has tugged on that spiral arm, pulling it down and deforming it in shape. And that's a finding that is out there in the literature that you can see.
If you see the dark line running from the main arm of the galaxy to the satellite, and then you go down and look at about 6 o'clock.
Right here, yeah.
No, 6 o'clock.
Oh, 6
below
o'clock.
the nucleus.
Below this
There's
nucleus?
another dark line, and it would almost be, if you imagine the satellite galaxy wasn't there, if the main galaxy had remained symmetric, those two dark lines would be approximately opposite each other. You know, if you got that spiral arm to lay down like the other one,
Yeah.
they'd be pretty much even and opposite each other in the galaxies.
Yeah.
But it's been distorted by the satellite.
Yep. And we can also see, as we pull out, you can see more detail in this object now. Let's do that. So you see this goes all the way out here, all the way out here. That's pretty crazy, isn't it? What would drive this way out here, this stuff way out here? But it did.
Yeah. Izabela, that's a good question. I think that's one of those things that the Webb telescope,
Read your question so people know.
how long does it take a galaxy to form? That I think the recent Webb results, where it's upsetting so much of cosmology,
Yeah.
they're finding that galaxies formed a lot sooner and a lot quicker than they used to think they did.
Yeah, like 275 to 300,000 years after the Big Bang, we're seeing fully formed galaxies, and that corresponds to redshifts, which are basically distance indicators that show galaxies right at the point where they should be forming, but we're seeing fully formed galaxies. So what does it mean? It means that maybe our estimate of the universe's age is off, or it means that galaxies formed quicker and sooner than we thought.
Can we zoom in a little bit?
Yeah, or a mix of both. I like that. That looks nice. Look at this spiral arm right here. Curling around like that. You can see stars forming in there. Let's move right in. That's really cool. Let's drop this way down to drop some of the noise. Look at that. There's the nucleus. There's that dark dust created by red giants, red supergiants. And this line goes all the way across. And then it's sweeping out here like this. That's cool. It goes all the way across. All in here. That's neat. Here's more dark dust, more dark dust. Kind of like a line here and a line there. That's weird. So clearly, gravitationally, these two galaxies interacting have caused a lot of features in this galaxy. I saw one paper that said that the spiral arms in this galaxy could have been formed by the collision with this galaxy. Absolutely crazy. What? Possible.
There's also a dark line, rather broken up on the second spiral arm out from the top, from the nucleus, the one closest to the satellite, but directly below it. It's the spiral arm that has that kind of sharp corner in it at about 11 o'clock.
You talking about this one?
No. Well, that arm, but a little, just to the right.
To the right.
Right there.
Okay.
Going all the way across to the, where that sharp corner is.
Yeah, I see it. Okay, we're going to add some contrast here. Yeah, what a messy spot in space this is, huh? All right, we'll do this. This will be our last exposure, 40 exposures. So we are reducing noise by about half from doing 20 exposures. Okay, Whirlpool Galaxy is up there. 40th frame is in. I'm saving. Save exactly as seen. And that's it. We've done it. Congratulations. You guys have wasted another several hours on a Tuesday night into Wednesday. I'm kidding about the wastage. But I'm hoping that you really enjoy this. I'm going to set this up there. This is what you're going to get when you get it online. That's the Whirlpool Galaxy. This is what you got right there. Boom. So you can download that. You can use it for what you will. Those are free. If you want the highly processed ones, you can join us in a Patreon, and the Patreon will the different levels will explain what you get for the different levels. Also, for our Patreon subscribers, we're planning on giving you for all Patreon subscribers, you're going to get a little gift, and we have to figure out what that's going to be. I have to meet with our other folks in the company. But we run on donations, so if you guys can help us out, that's great. I want to thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for those that donated to us tonight. That was wonderful of you guys. Outstanding. I enjoy doing this. Daryl enjoys doing this. Izabela loves doing this. I'm not sure what Cosmic Ray thinks, but we love having you, and I want to thank you guys for coming out. So until next time, keep looking up. And remember, just don't do that while you're driving, okay? So we'll see you another time. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.